Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel where my neurodivergent and niche interests come to play. And today we are touching upon the subject of fashion, or much more specifically, starting the discourse on my channel about fast fashion, about sustainability, and moving forward to be able to create more in-depth and much more heavily researched content based around those subjects. For any of you who didn't know, you know now, as I am broadening on this channel. I have a lot to say when it comes to consumerism, capitalism, sustainability, turning my back on fast fashion, moving forward to be a more conscious consumer in our just absolutely capitalistic hellscape we are currently living in. Now, this video is not going to be anywhere near as deep as the future content that I would like to create. This is sort of just touching the surface, sort of just bringing the subject onto my channel in a fairly relaxed way. For any of you coming here from my previous channel, you are definitely aware of the amount of hauls that I did. I was definitely a participant in a lot of the haul culture that was still very much today and was definitely rampant during the 2010s, which was my main time period on YouTube with that channel. And one type of haul that I absolutely definitely did way too many of were fashion hauls from places like Boohoo, Shein, Romwe, all of those sort of under the same umbrella of a fast fashion retailer. I always get that wrong. I'm always like, realtor. No, that's houses. Retailer is for selling. But obviously, as a byproduct of creating all of those videos, I purchased a large, probably excessive, alarmingly big amount of products from these places. I've got a little bit of notes here so that I can keep on track and give y'all kind of a more streamlined video. So if it sounds like I'm reading at some points, it probably is because I am. Through the years, I've been guilty of consuming probably more than my fair share of fast fashion. Brands that come to mind are Shein, Romwe, Cider, Boohoo, Pretty Little Thing, Fashion Nova, and so many more, just to name a few. There are a plethora of these ding-dang things. They just keep popping up out of the snow like daisies. There is a huge, insane amount of capital to be made in these, not very niche, but in these very widespread, easily accessible online retailers that have this quick turnaround and these cheaply made garments. Because in today's economy, it makes more sense to create a huge amount of poorly created products and just keep circling that and cycling that through, rather than focusing on quality materials and creating a economy that is actually able to sustain itself on quality, rather than constantly using products and single-use things and things that are just extremely disposable, but disposable in the sense of where it's going to end up in a landfill. It is very appealing to be able to purchase a new wardrobe for 75% less than other retailers, making their mass-produced products accessible and in demand, especially for lower income people. Prices are rising as I speak, and it's hard not to look for a break wherever you can get. Coupled with modern society's excessively fast-paced trend cycle, we are swamped with such an abundance of textile goods that is choking our planet and attempts to convince us we need more and more every single day. We are in a constant state of consume in our society currently, and a wide amount of products and a wide amount of just marketing done to, I would say, not even middle class, because that class is dividing and middle class just kind of keeps going down and down and down. More for that lower middle class and that poorer income. The products that are marketed toward them and sort of created for them and that are accessible to them are going to be lower priced, although lower priced because, again, everything is rising, temperatures rising. But these products that they are being sold are going to be less quality, more quantity, thus perpetuating that cycle of constantly needing to buy because you're purchasing less quality items. They're going to deteriorate quicker. And because of that, it keeps just fueling that consumeristic trend of needing to repeatedly buy more and more and more. Before making my final decision to cut my myself off from a variety of fast fashion sites, I was happily scrolling through trying to decide the best way to waste my money. I was extremely interested in cottagecore, fairycore, and whimsicott styles and made the mistake of entering those keywords into the search bar. What popped up were hundreds of endless options, variations on a theme of trending pieces. Where these sites had been a simple outlet for cheap alternatives, they were now hubs of rotating trends. It quickly became a blur of brown, green, black, and beige, photos of a popular aesthetic the site promised me their clothes would deliver. The plethora of options became almost overwhelming as I scrolled through each page, clicking on items and adding them to my cart in a flurry of hyper-fixated need. I would become bummed when something I wanted was sold out in my size, but did not take long to locate something similar a few pages over and continued happily with my spending spree. It is so easy on these sites to go down that rabbit hole because although I feel like the price inflation on these sites still is making things a bit more expensive, although, alternatively compared to other prices in like department stores and just everywhere else, it is a more affordable option. But even in that affordability, I think those prices are still rising consistently. These places have really evolved, so shipping was not an inconvenience, and my haul arrived within a week of ordering it. I was happy and excited, tore through the plastic package to inspect everything, but upon closer examination, sadly realized that I got what I paid for. And why should I have expected any different? Polyester, acrylic, and rayon do not bring joy. Even the momentary spike of dopamine was not enough to alleviate my disappointment as I began trying things on. Now, when I actually think of how I have contributed to my carbon footprint, it's makes me a little bit sad, honestly a lot sad, especially with how much more I am aware of how much I consume, how I consume, and just the amount of stuff that I have had come in and out of my life, just the revolving door of consumerism. I still overconsume, but I'm trying to take steps in order to make better decisions about what, where, and how much I buy. I think an important step to critiquing consumerism/capitalism is to acknowledge our own tendencies toward it. I'm going to start this off, y'all know, with I enjoy buying stuff. I really do. It's a really bad habit of mine. I've got bipolar and a wide variety of other outside targeted pressures, which make me, it's not an excuse, but, reasoning, I guess. I always used to joke with my mom that I am the perfect type of consumer because of the way that I just rotate and rotate and rotate. And looking back with, again, just the amount of stuff that I brought in and then sent out, and, it was like, oh, well, I donated it. But now that I know a bit more about, donation facts, how much actually ends up in the landfill, the textile waste that we have just as a country in this overshilled mass amount of just consistently done small little crappy products that are just consistently shilled, refilled, and resold to us as something different. What this video was originally planned to be was one where I went through a whole bunch. I've got some items from said places that I've shopped from. This was an order I made at least a year and a half ago, maybe bordering on 2 years, and I haven't gotten rid of those things because I've wanted to make a video with those things, as well as then wanting to dispose of them in a much more sustainable way, giving them to my mother, offering them to my girlfriend, and offering them up to my nieces. And if I end up not being able to distribute it that way, I will be taking it to my local food bank shelter, because I know that the products that I place in there and the products that they sell, and they have a good amount of turnover, I go there somewhat regularly, but I do know that the money they make from those products that I give to them goes right back into the community for, again, food bank, for programs for disadvantaged people, as well as people who are dealing with certain situations that they need help and assistance to getting out of. I was gonna actually recommend, let you know what I recommended and being like, oh, well, this is good quality and this is not, and, this would be better than this. Whereas today I more plan to show you, I will show you the things that I have kept and why, and I will show you the things that I have not kept and why, as well as hopefully highlighting some, although not going too deep into them just yet, highlighting some of those topics and points within fast fashion that I'm going to hopefully, not even hopefully, I am going to on my channel future dive even more deeper into and create more video essay type content about it. But again, this is more just sort of a tiptoe into it to kind of see how I feel, how you feel, and then moving forward creating a much more complex discourse on these subjects that are very near and dear to my heart. So fast fashion. We all know that we, kind of when it comes to these places, I don't think we're too disillusioned about the, actual quality of what we're getting. I'd like to think that we're a smart enough society to be able to look at it and see the price point and see just the mass production and just kind of come to acknowledge and accept the fact that we are in fact getting what we pay for. I at least know that when I'm going on and doing that, I'm not like, oh, I'm getting this super great deal, this high quality thing for this insanely small amount of money. And moving forward in my fashion journey, my style journey, my, moving forward with becoming more sustainable and more responsible as a consumer, I have come to really appreciate quality. And I understand that when I have discourse about fashion and I'm talking about things, whether it's coming from thrifting, shopping sustainable clothing brands, repurposing, there are a lot of elements to pulling yourself out of fast fashion that are very privilege based because of income and availability. These places really have found their target niche because that class divide and the cost of living is going up so much that it's, people are very attracted to being able to get more for less money simply because of the state we're at with our economy. I'm just going to go through the items that I have kept through the more recent haul that I've done. I've got pieces in bins from previous hauls that I have kept, but unfortunately a large amount of these fast fashion purchased clothing has unfortunately been not recycled, but decluttered out of my life, probably into a landfill, which weighs a lot more heavily on me now than it did. I believe the majority of these items fell within like the 25 to like $15 amount. I have a few skirts here. I really like skirts. I love the color of these. These are, I am just gonna say, this sort of thing really is a not worth your money. There is a large amount of ease with being able to shop fast fashion because of the abundance of products, the wide variety. There's just so many different things you can choose from. It makes it extremely appealing because, even though it's cheaply made, you can get a fair amount for your money. But looking into just the quality of these things, the thin, chintzy fabric, I mean, this really is just like a piece of plastic. I've kept it because it's cute and I can style it, and I'm gonna keep it if I like it and I feel bad about getting rid of things. It's a little bit difficult to tell, but the wide majority of the products that I have purchased from these companies has been synthetic materials. Again, we've got that acrylic, we've got that rayon, we've got just a wide variety of fabrics and materials that are less able to break down in the natural environment. Now, this skirt I wanted to mention because it is one of the better quality materials. It's a little bit thicker. It's got a bit of a heavier drape to it. It's not as plasticky. But one thing we're definitely going to be talking about when it comes to these places is the duping quality that they have, which while I do appreciate companies creating designs that are similar to more expensive ones, because again, when it comes to design and buying certain things, I do believe that a wide variety of products shilled to us, even ones that are like better for the environment, are just so much more expensive. This is a Minga London skirt, which is one of my favorite brands. This is a sweater from them. This was a $80 skirt, and this was probably $15. And part of that video was, I would say, if you're wanting this and you can't do the $80, which I feel like the majority of people cannot, then there is this, which does give the same aesthetic. But then we run into the whole you know, Shein's just really taking like a copier, you know, it's like, you know, copy my whole, you know, you can get the answers, but just don't make it look too similar. And Shein was like, yep, we got it. And then this item is just another one that is a really good example of just super lower quality material. The elastic in these skirts have a tendency to bunch and roll up. There really isn't any attention to creating a garment that is going to last, that is going to be something that you're able to use, and it maintains its quality and its integrity through the use. There is a large amount of loose threads. There are sometimes things that are, you know, pilling already, and just again, the construction of the clothing, there is no care or consideration. It's really just, again, a great example of that cycle. Just make more, make it cheap, use cheap materials, and sell it to a class that we are purposefully trying to keep and make poorer and poorer and poorer. This one's a little bit better. As you can see, it looks a bit more organic, looks a bit more natural. I think this has a little bit of cotton. Again, I am someone who is a lot more fond of like wool, linen, you know, whole materials, cotton things, rather than a lot of poly blends that just are not as good for the environment and just overall in the extended wearability of the clothing in your closet. This one is okay. This is nice material. This is an item that I actually enjoy wearing. I would say this one is on par with stuff that you would get from like Forever 21 or Walmart or places that are a much lower price point, that are targeted to being lower price point. I mean, a lot of these brands, I don't think, maybe they do have illusions about themselves, but a lot of these brands are pumping out that, you know, high volume of cheaper made clothing and kind of marketing it and making it seem more than it is. Then probably two of the nicest items, aside from that one skirt that I showed you that looked like the Minga London one, are these two sweaters. Are they amazing? Are they great? Is this like a fairly thin though soft material? Is it acrylic? Yes, it is. But although even if you spend money on good things, I have a couple sweaters from the Ragged Priest, which is a expensive brand, that are basically plastic, which is just really disheartening and just further, I feel, really drives home the fact that although while we do focus on, you know, the more obvious fast fashion ones like these, a lot of brands and companies that are much more higher priced, that claim a lot more, not claiming sustainability, but claim a higher quality than places like this, are also participating in the push of lesser goods. But these are nice. I like both of them. These were honestly, you know, it's bad when you are, while you are going through your purchase, as I was going through this was a couple different places that I got packages from. I just went on, I'll get from this one and this one and this one, because I wanted a cheap thrill. It's bad when you've got that and, you know, you're going through and you're like, wow, this is actually kind of nice. You know, this, you know, when you have that, like, however, you know, if like 3 out of 10 is like actually nice and the rest is disappointing, that's a really bad ratio. But going on here and just, you know, they're good. They're okay. They are a fantastic example of why I am pursuing not getting fast fashion anymore. But now that we've addressed the things that I've kept, let's talk about the other stuff. This big ol' heap here. This was probably one of the most disappointing hauls. I never ended up filming it because I felt afterwards, I felt guilty. I was like, this is bad. I spent like well over $100, probably closer to like $150 on there. Like I said, there are other things that I have decluttered since then. I'm like, I just, you know, that revolving door that I am. And just as you go through, it really cements, again, the level of quality and the level of just honestly crap that I feel like in our economy we are starting to tout as the norm. It's something that's sort of just anticipated rather than expecting and demanding more. We've got this little shrug here. The material is just absolutely awful. The just the craftsmanship is some of the absolute worst that I have ever seen. I will say it right now. I have products from Walmart that are 110% better, and in many cases less expensive than the stuff from these fast fashion sites. It really is just a simulation of taking that product, producing it cheaply, spitting it out, and just repeating that over and over and over again as we keep cycling through these incessant micro trends that are being really perpetuated by that heavy, 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 heavy consumerism from places like TikTok, Instagram. Everything is becoming a walking ad around us. Again, just another really, I don't know what I was expecting. I feel like I should have lowered my expectations a fair amount, because this is not the quality that I am ascribing to. The way they just take this and just attach it here, I would say the quality of this stuff is even worse than my hauls from like 5 years ago on my other channel. The quality and just the way that things are constructed has deteriorated even so much in that small amount. And I think that is a trend that is just going to continue. It's just the norm of the way things are done in this industry. This one isn't so bad. It's a little bit better. Again, I would say Walmart, or I don't know. Again, a little bit better, a bit more complexity, and a bit nicer design, although nothing that really screams that it is going to last through any of this stuff. I would rue the day that it goes through the washer and it's just going to come out one big giant untangled mess because of just how poorly and sadly it is constructed. Again, I compare a lot of stuff to Walmart because Walmart is an extremely accessible option for people. I wanted to bring this up as well. This one is sad. This one is just pitiful, and the way that it's created, and it just it's bad. It's really, really, really bad. And I wanted to draw another conclusion here. Let's see if I can. Okay, so here is this cardigan. It's nice. It's boho. It's very cottage core and flowy and neutral. But wait, that design on the front looks awfully similar to one of my favorite cardigans in all existence. Again, by Minga London, which I think just really cements the concept of how absolutely just buck wild these companies are, reaching out to every single little trend, every single whatever, and remanufacturing it and repackaging it as like a dupe and just giving you basically recycled shit. I mean, this is just, I'm not being like, this is the end all be all and you can only buy this, whatever. But a topic that I want to talk about is that artistic, there's a lot going on with like artistic property and whatever. And again, we will get into all of that in other videos, but I was going through, I was like, yeah, okay, I wonder what they're trying to mimic. And the same goes for this one. I feel like they took that cardigan from Minga London and they kind of tore it apart and created these two. I mean, just the way that it rolls back, it doesn't have anything that would make it it's just bad. It's just really, really, really bad. And I don't know why this one hit home with me harder than any of the other hauls. Maybe I was, had the starry eyes of a YouTuber being haul and all the other content creators were doing it. Be like, this is so expensive and this is so nice for how inexpensive it is. It's not nice. And although it is inexpensive in a lot of standards, I think even amidst the rising prices, it is edging out farther and farther from being affordable. Then last but not least, we have this thing here, which is a big old piece of acrylic and polyamide. I don't even know what that is. I'm sure it's some sort of non-breakdown of it. I mean, just it's sad. It's sad. It really is just absolutely, this is what we are creating as to be the norm of moving forward. Imagine 1,000 of these garments just going through and then just being thrown right into a landfill where they're not going to be able to, you know, break down. And it's one of those things. And one thing I'll make a more whatever video about it, but one thing I wanted to mention is, as someone who really strongly advocates for thrifting where you can and how you can, I understand, again, that is another very privileged, it's a whole ball of wax, the whole ball of whatever thrifting. But with the insurgent of how much of these garments are being flooded into society, and with how much people are just, again, those micro trends and cycling through and the next big thing, and just, we get this, we wear it for a video and then we toss it out, and then there are going into thrift stores a huge amount of this. I cannot tell you how much Shein I found at thrift stores because it's shit. It's awful. It's awful. And people are just cycling through it and tossing it at a Goodwill, thinking that that's, you know, going to somehow help make this better. And I don't want to create an entirely, oh, grim, woe is whatever, you know. On this channel, I really want to focus on critiquing consumerism, critiquing what society, or at least creating a norm of lesser quality products that is just, I feel, a tactic to continuously create and widen that class divide. But so many things from Shein and Romwe and all these places in the Goodwill, which makes it even harder to be sustainable and to go out and find those higher quality products when they're not even, they're becoming less and less available with the influx of these products, as well as the influx of Depop sellers, which is another, not just Depop sellers, that's the Depop, go check my Depop store. Because of these outside factors, it is making it harder and harder on, you know, in every day to be able to take those steps to move forward with creating a more sustainable lifestyle for yourself. That's where I'm going to end it on this video. I hope I made some points. I am really looking forward to creating more critiquing, a more in-depth analysis, and more video essay about this content that really, I feel very passionate about it. I've always been interested. Way back when I was younger, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to open my own boutique. I have had a pretty powerful love-hate relationship with the whole concept of fashion, whether it be high fashion or, anyway, I have a lot to say about it. I've talked about this for over a half hour now at this point. So if you have made it to this point, give yourself a giant gold fucking star, because you deserve it for listening to me ramble on about this particular interest of mine. I love you and I appreciate you. As always, again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about things that do interest me. I look so forward to creating more content. I am very appreciative of the positive feedback I have gotten about this kind of content, and moving forward, I see myself enjoying YouTube more than I had been, and there will be a video talking about YouTube burnout at some point. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video or vlog. Bye!